Oh, it's cross spawns as well. Would you look at that? Alright then, to the bottom left of this Protoss versus Protoss, our blue player from Asterion Esports is Harstem. Top right hand side, in the purple, it is Cyan. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. I know we got a little bump of the host off local as well. Great to see 1,000 of you out in the viewership so far for this event. It's yeah, really great to see you guys the last few days. You don't leave until Thursday morning, Adzi? To be fair, I mean, it's not like you really miss much, I suppose, on Wednesday. Nothing really happens. I only fly out on the Wednesday just because I don't like the hassle of flying out on Thursday. Because most players travel on Wednesday, there isn't really anything for me to cast on Wednesdays. You know, nice first chill night in the bar. Chilling out, a couple drinks, catch up with a couple people. It's fun. It also means that I don't get stressed if there's any travel nightmares. I remember one time I used to fly into Home Story Cup on the Thursday. And the first time I did, I think I had some real travel nightmares. And, you know, I arrived at like 8 PM when I was meant to arrive at 4 PM. And I was just sad because I'd missed, like, you know, 8 PM I arrived. I felt like I'd missed an entire day of Home Story Cup, you know? It was a bit of a shame. A couple of assimilators on the way up on each side of the map. As we will be seeing this probe of Harstem heading in towards the bottom right to have a little bit of a scout around. Who else is coming to Home Story Cup? I know Wurzag's in here. I saw him shouting around and I know he's going to be there. Who else is coming? Anyone else out in the chat going to be attending? Let me know. I'm excited to meet you all, hopefully. Or at least a good amount of you. We actually have fast expansions here. Sorry. I really maybe should have mentioned this already. It's kind of interesting. Gate Nexus Core into second gates on this map. It does, you know, it's interesting because PvP doesn't usually go into, you know, fast expands. But obviously on a larger map like this, maybe you're able to get away with it. I mean, Harstem actually did this the other day on Dreamcatcher, the fast expansion. And it did work out for him. So I'm actually intrigued to see if he can make it happen again. And this time, obviously, well, Cyan kind of counters with an expansion of his own. So both of them will get away with the expansion-based play to start things off. Darkness Sanctuary with a shocked face, says Elska. Well, you got to remember, these are best of 5s now, so some maps other than Catalyst, Acid Plant, and Lost and Found will sometimes see some playtime in these series, unless everything is a 3-0. Although this is the first map, you know, sometimes players like to pick maps first to get them out of the way. Can't really blame them. Well, Stargate is on the way up from both players, so a completely mirrored build here to get things going on Darkness. And so it really will come down to, well, first of all, who decides to play the Phoenix versus Phoenix? You know, do you go into Phoenix, and then if they both do go Phoenix right away to play safely, then do we see them continue into Phoenix versus Phoenix? I mean, usually the answer to that is yes, but we did see a couple of times the other day in a Phoenix versus Phoenix possibility sort of scenario, we actually saw one of the, I can't remember if it was Cyan or Jeshi, but one of them shied away from that idea as, oh, Cyan actually misses the Warlock with the Adept. That's really painful because he's going to lose 5 workers or more. I mean, by the time he's killed 4 here in the mid-natural, he's going to jump into the main and kill a few more. The Stalkers have to run up into the main, and by then, well, that actually gets a surround on one Adept, which will shut it down. He will just get that kill right there, and there's a couple of probes he can target fire that are already low on health. 9 workers killed at the same time. Adepts are across the map too, so Harstem did lose 4 workers of his own, but that will be against the 10 he's just killed. So Harstem does find himself a slight advantage after the first fight, and it is Phoenix production on the way from both players, as both players have had Adepts scouting into the main base. They see the Stargates, they know Phoenix will have to come on out here to play this out. Alright. So, just going to be having the couple of assimilators on the low ground as well here from Harstem. A few extra workers for him means he can maybe get those set up a little bit more easily, a little bit quicker. Cyan just going to take a single gas in his natural for the moment. Harstem gathering some units up at the moment. A couple of Phoenix joined by these Adepts which are shading up to the top side. Still just Stalkers at the moment from Cyan actually, so a little bit intriguing to have just the Stalkers. No further Adepts of his own. And he is going to move away from Phoenix. He's going into that Twilight Council. So this is exactly what we were talking about just before, where we've seen these Chinese players kind of shine away from continued Phoenix play, and instead going to try and switch things up with the Twilight Council production. Now, as Harstem adds on his second Stargate back at home, he's obviously kind of invested into Phoenix play. He kind of obviously thinks this is Phoenix versus Phoenix, and obviously why wouldn't he? And he's seen Phoenix of his opponent, so yeah, you know, this does sort of make a lot of sense to expect Phoenix versus Phoenix. So he's going to continue to commit into that, and at the same time, the Dark Shrine from Cyan. Okay, well, there's the plan. Going into the Dark Shrine, it's looking to try and catch Harstem off guard without detection, but Harstem is a bit of a step ahead of him. Cannon already on the way down the front of the natural. He has a forge, and that's actually going to be a major help in terms of being able to deal with any of this here. As we'll see that probe pushed away, Harstem will be able to expand. There's Phoenix just coming over to make sure it's a nice, easy setup. Left a few Phoenix on the natural as well, which I like. It means he doesn't send them all in one location, which means if DTs do start running in, he still has Phoenix there to lift them up and shut them down nice and quickly. More Phoenix into the center. Blink on the way up right now from Cyan as well with this Dark Shrine. Not going to be his only commitment, as we do see the Phoenix Star. Well, from Harstem just going to dive in. I mean, he wins the Phoenix War. Now he kind of wins the Grand War as well, remember, because he can generally just lift things up, although the Stalkers in good numbers, I suppose, for the moment. He will just instead go for some probes. The Stalkers, without Blink, will not be able to keep it for a moment or two. That one Phoenix, unfortunately, left behind. No! Phoenix Probe comes back for him, so his lift wasn't even worthless. Getting that probe kill as well. Stalkers intercepting more Phoenix. Whoa! This is not good from Harstem. Just loses one more in that recall, and he lost one more rallied in, which wasn't being recalled. And he killed 9 workers, but a lot of Phoenix go down. At this stage of the game, after Harstem's already had kind of the Phoenix lead, you know, well established, does he really need many more Phoenix? Will we build another couple right here? But I would imagine at some stage he needs to think about adding on some extra units on the ground for himself. Because DT runs in, lifted up, shut down instantly. Cannon already on the way up towards the third base. This is not going to be an issue either. Great defense by Harstem, just again thought about the possibility of this being a thing, of this happening. And that possibility thinking has led to him just being able to deflect and defend without any losses at all. Great shutdown. More Stalkers gathered together, and well, as Harstem goes across the map with the Phoenix, he doesn't have a lot on the, you know, again, on the ground to really fight with. 2 Stalkers, a Sentry and a Zealot, soon to be joined by an Immortal. Phoenix will come along as well to try and help out. Has to keep that Immortal in the corner of this main for the moment as well, or the natural, I should say. So here we go. Phoenix will start up, getting some lifts now. They'll start to really ties the fight on the low ground as we do see the Immortal come in for some big chunks of damage as well. And another wave of Phoenix lifts going to take down these Stalkers. Cyan realizes that at this stage you've lost so many Stalkers to work for more than one scene change in a row. That would be wonderful. Be freaking fantastic, wouldn't it? Alright, up game to the bottom right-hand side of the map. We do see the blue Protoss player from Asterion. It is Harstem. He's going up against the red Protoss to the top left-hand side from China. Knocking out Snoot in the round of 6. Cyan. Okay then, a few moments to get this ready to go. Early game PvP this time, it's going to be a bit more regular. Cyan throwing down the second gate as well, just to confirm we will be seeing 2 gates apiece from our players. You know, as a plan, we're maybe expecting something a little bit weird once again. Just because they expanded so quickly in Darkness, I mean, maybe somehow, some way, there's a possibility. But, yeah, I guess it is just Darkness Sanctuary, very large map, and not really expecting much to happen from there, so nothing too crazy in this, as we are going to be seeing this probe from Cyan. He's on its way down towards the bottom right. Couple of adepts are going to be potentially starting from each side. Obviously, the early 2 units, always an interesting question, and this time it's no Adepts at all. There's going to be a couple of Stalkers versus a Stalker and a Sentry. So just getting set up into this, and we are going to see this probe of Harstem going to be chased around by Cyan here. Yeah, Stalker Sentry on the way up, and it does mean that the Sentry will have some hallucination potential. Obviously, in general, it means you probably want to expand here as Harstem without thinking about sticking on one base for all too long. We'll see what the Stalkers go into as well, as you do see that shield battery is now placed. The probe blocked it, then decides to just back away anyway. Stalkers pop, and the probe is out of there. JH Lazuli in the chat saying, what he just wanted to say, thanks as always for putting on these events. You do a great job and looking forward to seeing you at Home Story Cup. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at Home Story Cup too. Home Story Cup. Home Story Cup. I'm ready, guys. I'm so ready. I've been saving my, I haven't drank alcohol in a little while just to make sure I'm going to be able to drink as much as possible at Home Story Cup as well, of course. As you do. It's only natural. 2 Adepts on the way out of these gateways. A Nexus coming in on each side of the map. And Cyan will start to take some presence with these Stalkers here. Harstem with the Stargate down. It's kind of weird because actually, I mean, Cyan's just continuing to build gateway units, and he's probably going to look to get aggressive then, right, with this pylon? How weird though, because I mean, he's expanding too, but Harstem has the setup with the Stargate. He's just going to be Phoenix for the moment. Phoenix are surprisingly good at defending. I mean, you can take multiple units out of a fight. It's surprising how much that actually has an effect. Hallucinated Phoenix coming across the map to try and do more. As Cyan brings the Adepts across, he can start to potentially look at the opportunity of shading Adepts into the main to pull Harstem apart and pull him away from the shield battery and open up that natural to an attack. So that's definitely one thing we could look towards here from Cyan. As we'll see a Twilight Council coming down as a follow-up. So he's looking for the Blink play in the near future. 2 more Stalkers in the naturals. We are going to be seeing a big question from Cyan. And Harstem has another Phoenix finishing, so he'll have a bit more energy. He doesn't quite have the unit count here right away. He is going to come in now, lifts up a Stalker. He's one of the main damage output dealers in this current moment. So lifting up the Stalker is definitely a good decision. The Adept would die a bit faster, but I mean, again, it's the fact that the Stalker being lifted, it takes away the damage the Stalker can put out as well. So that's one of the important parts of this, is we will see the Phoenix lifting up the Adept. You can see the Phoenix just do a lot of damage to Adept, so it definitely works out quite nicely when you are able to pick an Adept up and to take that out of the equation. On the left side, 2 more Adepts warp in. A few more Stalkers just going to head up back to the top. And a few Phoenix thinking about coming in from the right-hand side. 4 Phoenix in total at the moment. As we do see Harstem going to be approaching the front here to try and do just a little bit more. 2 more Stalkers, 2 more Adepts. This just heading across the map here from Harstem is, again, I mean, he killed some early units, and now he's going to try and pull some units out of position into the main base, as he could look for some probe kills, and he will turn and pick off 1. I don't think there's much you can do in the natural, though. 2 Stalkers and 2 Adepts versus 3 Stalkers. There should be warp-ins available. Blink is not too far off either. I guess if the Adepts tank, it does turn into quite an interesting fight, which is actually a little bit favourable to the Blue Protoss players. We'll see the Adepts do now shade away, though, so these 2 Stalkers of Harstem, actually, they're shaded backwards here, so they still get joined up by the Stalkers. In the end, though, I mean, this is still just Harstem picking away and getting a lot of damage done. He's actually Harstem down quite heavily in the worker count, but his army supply is really kind of working wonders instead. So I wonder if that's Harstem's plan to just try and win this with the army right now. His work is on 28 against 45. He did lose 13 probes along the way here to a couple of Adepts that shaded by. So Harstem taking some heavy hits in economy. The fact that Cyan is on 17 workers in the lead is crazy, although that said, you only need 44 workers to saturate these 2 bases, so at the moment Cyan is oversaturated. More probes won't help him much further. So Harstem isn't actually that far behind on income as you might expect. Yes, it's a big difference. It definitely isn't as much as you would maybe originally imagine. Phoenix just continue to lift up units here, and as the Phoenix lift up units, their pickoffs obviously so valuable, and I mean, at this point just going to kite away against the Zealot. I mean, as you lift up the Stalkers too, it just means that these Stalkers are unable to kite away themselves, which are obviously usually a big issue. It's going to see 1 more Phoenix join the crew. There was already an extra lift available, though. Remember that every Phoenix that joins is an extra lift available every 50 energy. obviously becomes a pretty big deal pretty quickly, as we are going to see Phoenix lifting the Stalker up. Another kill in the main, another 2 kills in the main. I mean, Harstem has got his opponent down to 0 army supply. As the Death Stalker's warping onto the natural, he's just sat here killing probes. Maybe now he'll start to back away from that, but then again, why would you? If you can just, you know, lift them up with the Stalker, with the Phoenix, and get the job done anyway. It's still pure Phoenix production here from Harstem. Still 1 Stalker on the ground. Pushing on in, and, well, a new shield battery is going to start healing these guys on the top side of the middle line as well. He'll instead just jump back into the main base, and once more Harstem is keeping the unit count of his opponent at 0. I mean, what do you do when you literally cannot warp in enough units to shut down the Phoenix that just lifting your units up? Oh look, another Stalker dies. Cyan's in such a frustrating position because what does he actually do? Okay, well, he's going to morph in an Archon. By morphing in an Archon, he does have a solid defense against the Phoenix. You know, the one thing that Phoenix can't do is lift Archons, so they can't really fight back against Archons, unfortunately. Even, you know, even if they point themselves to the ground, they still just shoot upwards. It's almost like their little attacks. What's it called? An ion cannon. So many cannons in this game. The ion cannon, it's you know, you fire it and it just, you know, it just flies true. It doesn't. It just flies straight horizontal. It doesn't work if you just point down and try and shoot at the ground. So the Archon just still going to sit here, and we are going to be seeing. I mean, at this point, Harstem still 6 workers behind despite killing workers, but he is building up quite heavily at home. He is going to be behind an attack upgrade. Model coming down, his own Twilight Council dropping. Looks as though he is getting ready to expand himself. Resources lost is disgustingly one-sided. 6,225 to 2,775. Again, though, Cyan has held that income lead for about 5 minutes now, so that obviously does help a lot. Harstem's current issue is that these Phoenix are out of energy, so they can't actually do that much more, which is a shame because obviously you'd kind of like to see more of these Phoenix continue to fight, because otherwise now you sit back and Cyan suddenly is going to be able to start rebuilding a number of units. And a number of units is the start to a army which Harstem can't engage with purely Phoenix. I'm still waiting for the day one of these pro players goes full Roddy and just doesn't get the warp gate. I'm still waiting for it. One of these days it'll happen, I'm sure. Here's moving forwards. As Phoenix jump into the main, we have some probes going to start going down. 5 workers picked off already. Again, keeping the economy of Cyan as low as possible. Still would like to probably save some lifts though for this army moving across the map. What he doesn't want to do is have no energy on the Phoenix at all, in which case 50 supply to 40 supply advantage turns into, well, 50 minus 9 Phoenix worth of supply, or 10 Phoenix worth of supplies, so it's about 20 or 30 army supply here. 3 Immortals, the 4 Teps, the Sentry, a couple of Zealots. You're going to be seeing Cyan going to jump on this army right away. Shield Battery does come in, down to 1 Immortal already. Harstem, as his Zealots here trying to stick around. The Shield Battery has now drained of energy. The Phoenix trying to lift up wherever they can, but it's the Archons in the sky that will cause the next issue, which is straight up as well. But what you do against the Archons, you can't lift those. Gross fallen. As you see the +1 armor charge about to finish here as well. We are going to be seeing Cyan trying to pull away. Phoenix turn around once more, and they are going to be able to get a Stalker kill. Zealot too. A couple of Stalkers going down right now. These units just continue to charge forwards as you see the Archon pushing in also. Zealots will continue to fall, and we just see another warp window from Cyan. He's going to keep up the pressure. Cyan is ahead 10 workers as Harstem tries to take a third base. He's going to have difficulty in doing so. And that lack of income all this time for Harstem, despite the resources lost being so good for him for a long time. And now that's really starting to hurt him here. He's just not had the economy to really keep fighting this, and his 51 probes get to work across 3 bases. Harstem's looking pretty good. Pretty weak, sorry. Cyan's looking pretty good. Cyan looking to take his first game against Harstem in this tournament. Not just in this semi-final, but again in the groups it was a 2-0 in favor of Harstem. Harstem moving through everyone on that day without any issues. Well, nothing you can really do here. 5 Archons in play. Unless you kill those with your ground army, these Phoenix are not going to have much of a chance to do much, so you're in some trouble right now, I think, Harstem, as you're going to have to bring in these Phoenix, but again, they're going to be flying over the Archons. He is going to lift up whatever he can that isn't Archons, which is just a handful of Zealots. after that, he is really going to be left hoping that these Archons and Immortals are enough to keep the peace on his side of the map, enough to stop his opponent from pushing on in and going for the kill. The results will clean up some reinforcements as well from Cyan. 20 work a difference though. Harstem also without upgrades. I mean, he's got 1-1 now, but he's missing the +2 attack, which his opponent has. Yes, he's got an armor upgrade, but I do feel as though attack goes a little bit further. So that is a shame not having the upgrades on his side either, really. As he pushes across the map once again, he does have an army supply lead at the moment. 2 more Archons just finished morphing in. Phoenix are still around. War Prism about to finish, and I think Harstem's realizing there's one chance in this game is to counter-attack, perhaps right now. So Cyan, one defense away from tying this series 1-1, best of 5 semi-finals. It's going to be seen as units gathering up, and well, Archon's getting an observer already. A couple of Zards do charge in. And again, Harstem just doesn't feel as though he has that much to really fight with. 2 Immortals, 3 Archons. Okay, well there's another Archon that shows up, another couple of Zards, but it still isn't really feeling like a lot at all. He's going to try and let the Phoenix go ahead of the rest just so he can try and get them to tank some damage. Finally he's able to pick off 1 Archon, loses another Archon, going to lose another as well. Guys, this is going to be Cyan's game. Ties it up 1-1 in this series versus Cyan. Top right hand side, our blue Protoss player is Harstem. Going up against the red Protoss, the bottom right hand side, Cyan. Alright, so getting set up here. This probe is going to be coming along towards the upper right hand side. We do just have ourselves a probe coming in towards the main base. No cannon rush here. One lost and found. Which is something we saw a lot of in the group stages, so interesting. Harstem gonna back away from this one now, maybe expecting his opponent to figure him out at that point. As we will see this probe from Cyan going to be done the scouting, heading back home. Harstem's probe probably feeling a fairly similar sort of position. Cyan throws his Stargate down right away, and Harstem does see this. Meanwhile, Cyan on the other side of the map, he left before the Stargate was dropped, so Cyan playing blind, but that's probably because he actually wanted to force force Harstem to see this Stargate. Instead, he's going to drop 2 more gateways. He's going to go 1 base, 4 gate. He's really going to commit to this Cyan, so he's going to go. And meanwhile, Harstem, well, he's going to be picking away at these first 2 adepts. That's a great start from Harstem. More damage you get done now, unless you have to worry about later as his adepts shit up to the top side. You know what? He might find these. And you see 1 adept is shade, and he is going to get a hit to stop the shields coming back. We'll get a second hit as well to bring it a little bit lower on the health as well. 2 extra gates in the main. As we were mentioning before, this 4-gate again set to go. Interesting that one of the gates just isn't proxied. I guess because maybe he just decided to do this based on the scout timing of his opponent, seeing the Stargate of his opponent too. Stuff that, or not seeing as actually he didn't see the Stargate, did he? So maybe he could have gotten a proxy down. But I guess right now the slow warpins will have to do in Harstem. No shield battery. Warping in a second Phoenix is not going to help him right here now. As he comes across the map, there is a wall of his sign that he's going to have to break through those adepts. He might just have to recall his adepts. He probably has to give up the natural expansion. There's so many units here. Nice block with the shield battery on the high ground. The thing is, though, these Stalkers come at the ramp, and Harstem's going to lose the pylon. And Harstem, as he loses the pylon, well, he loses power to his gateways, and suddenly, I think this game might just be about to end. Let's see if these Adepts can save the day. The Phoenix are going to start lifting up a Phoenix, Stalker. Remember that further warp-ins are slow, and that could have an effect here. Harstem will also pull the probes. So has a Nexus on the way, which is something for him in the long term. Another Stalker lifted. Adept's going to try and shade the top of these units. Harstem's holding on, in fairness. He's doing a much better job than I thought he would with the Phoenix helping out. The probe pull definitely helped for a little while there, and that's something which I didn't really take into consideration when I thought about how Harstem was maybe going to defend this. Cancels his Nexus last moment here, warps in another Stalker. Keeps the Phoenix production constant. We'll see a Twilight Council behind this from Cyan. Phoenix lifting up once again, another lift too, and I think Harstem starts to have enough units right now. One final Stalker lifted up into the skies at the moment. And one Stalker of Harstem chased all the way up the ramp, but he is not going to go down. The Adepts here. The Adepts can stay in range, they do a lot, but obviously it's difficult to keep the Adepts in range of Stalkers. It's not happening just yet. Phoenix started coming around the left-hand side. Trying to see what they can do. Pushing in, we are going to see a Stalker again lifted. Recall will come down. Harstem makes the defense happen. Wow. Well, Harstem with the defense for the moment. We do see these Phoenix coming across the map at this point. A few more Stalkers gathering together for Cyan. Blink is on its way up as well. Do you see one probe getting picked up as well? There's one probe lifted there, and well, Harstem obviously was cancelled on his Nexus. There's a Robo on the way up, by the way. Blink on the way through from Cyan, not DT Shrine. With 23 probes apiece, army supplies even. This actually turned into a bit of an interesting game. Stalkers obviously will have the better maybe fighting, opportunities. Phoenix will have the better harassing opportunities for the near future, so Harstem will be able to be the player who slows down the work count a little bit further. Meanwhile, as you see a couple of depth shading by, makes some a little bit of a return fire for the workers that were just lost. Meanwhile, though, I guess Harstem going into the Robo versus the Blink is actually a fairly sound situation to play, and should be able to just get the Immortals up to be able to hold off the Blink Stalkers of his opponent. Yes, there is still 4 gates, though, from Cyan, so Harstem just have to be a little bit careful of that. Just as he probably has to be careful about not leaving his own natural expansion without being taken for too long. For Phoenix coming around into the center. Gathering up once again now. And we are going to be seeing the Blink just about to finish. So Blink is finishing. We're going to do see the Nexus now on the way. And, well, this army here from Harstem starts to head out across the map. Well, picked off right there, and we are going to be seeing another few Adepts continuing over. Stalkers too. So ever just see this coming. Again, very low unit count right now from Harstem, and no shield battery or pylon to even build a shield battery on the low ground. Phoenix are going to have to be careful, of course, because of the potential blinks forwards. Does Harstem know about the natural of his opponent? He doesn't. If he sees that, he's probably going to be a bit more eager to actually defend his natural rather than his high ground. So he goes down a base, and he's in some trouble, and he realizes that here, and that's why he's pulling his units down. Phoenix is going to lift up a whole bunch of Stalkers to begin with. It's not about picking them off one by one now, it's about keeping them here if he can force the rest of the units to blink away. That's exactly what happens. This Immortal, though, too far forwards perhaps, maybe trying to bait a blink. It kind of feels like he wants these units to blink on top, but I kind of feel like that would still just end up with these Immortals just going down. In the end, Cyan plays the safe game, blinking away for the moment. As we are going to be seeing charge upgrade coming through. Cyan with the +1 attack upgrade as well. Getting himself ready for game number 3. His mid-game now. Cyan with all the upgrades. Harstem actually making a bit of a push, though. Is up on army supply. He's only on 21 probes. He hasn't been building workers to really saturate his natural very often, or very much here. Cyan has got a fully saturated mineral line. If Harstem pushes in right now for the prison to open a few more units, this could be really good. He's got 4 Phoenixes of his own, remember, to lift up some units too. He can take out a lot of units from the fight very quickly. There is shield batteries on the way up. One ready, one more building. First Phoenix finding themselves a couple of units in the front. That sentry going down means less force fields available, although there's still 3 more sentries. Harstem has his own force fields as well, but does he really want to use them? How do you use them actually as well? Where it's going to affect your opponent nicely. And really kind of slow him down when he has Blink. It's not easy to position him. This one's to the side are pretty good because it kind of keeps his opponent's sentries forwards. Good pick up micro on the War Prism. Another advantage that Harstem will have here is that War Prism pick up micro. So far using it well. There's only one sentry left with energy here, it seems, from Cyan. It actually gets very low right away there. It's going to go down. So the sentries are now out of energy. The Phoenix are pretty much drained of energy too. They're putting in their final couple of lifts right now. As Zealots get warped in, they do buy a little bit of time, but it's the two Immortals that's still just not being dealt with at all. As we see these Stalkers to the left-hand side trying to keep on fighting, they're just dropping like flies. The Immortals way too powerful here. Another few Zealots warping in. Phoenix lifting up again. One of the Zealots killed. So we are going to be seeing a couple of Adepts. Reinforcements as well from Harstem. He is working off of a decent economy and he has got the War Prism behind him. It looks as though he is going to be able to push on through the natural expansion and to take the lead and into match point on this series in the semi-finals. Cyan types out the GG. Harstem takes game 3 and we are to the upper left-hand side. Our blue Protoss player up in the series, one map away from winning. This is Harstem. And to the bottom right, our red Protoss player, Cyan. Giving my glasses a quick clean, making sure we're going to be able to see this StarCraft action in beautiful crisp view. I got new glasses the other day, so I'm now in the process of switching which pair of glasses I wear every single day. Because I really like all my glasses. So I'm having a really great time just swapping from this pair of glasses to that pair of glasses. It's great. So much fun. Alright. Well then, as we get this going, we do set up in game number 4. And obviously, we've already just seen the double gate opening, so waiting to see what the tech choices will be here in the near future from these two guys. Waiting to see what happens in that regard and getting ready to go from there. StarCraft music, man. This is legit. It's going to be seeing a Stalker and a Sentry from both players actually, so they're actually going to mirror each other from the very get-go here. Cyan is going to be backing away from that main base. Harstem sticks around just a little bit longer, is going to be leaving now, so he is still going to be clear of his opponent's units popping out. Isn't going to be losing anything there. Stalker and the Sentry. Going over to the right hand side, we will be able to start chasing that probe away, so probe should go down. Probe picked off nice and quickly, nice and easily actually. As we also have the robotics facility from Harstem starting up in the main. So Robo against a Twilight. Interesting setup actually. Robo will keep him very safe against any potential Dark Temple play. Twilight of course can just be used for a straight up blink opener, which is a fairly common way to go about things as well of course. Stalkers just moving forwards. Link on the way right now. War Prism coming through. And we are going to be seeing the Nexus on the way from both players. So War Prism initially from Harstem isn't really going to be too crazy. Load up a few Stalkers, try and get some damage. Hallucinate Phoenix from Cyan will allow him to get a scout into the main. We'll see that Robo. So it is, you know, obviously Robo facility coming up versus the Blink. Not really much crazy. I mean, you just get an Immortal or so out, you'll be fairly safe. Intrigued to see what this Warp Prism can achieve, especially as the Stalkers will generally take position on the map here. This probe's a little bit cheeky hiding away, but it's not actually going to see the Prism. The Prism moved a little bit. You know what, Harstem actually just has a fair amount of units. Starting to move forwards, throwing a Twilight Council down of his own. What is his plan here? Oh, is he going to go for like an elevator? Force field the main ramp, just elevate it up into the main. Maybe we see a recall. Well, okay, just use the Chrono Boost. My answer to this for Cyan was maybe he just uses a recall. Harstem's just going to come forwards. I mean, that blink is just about to finish here. Harstem nearly loses his Warp Prism. He can use this to essentially blink his own units back as well. He'll also need it to warp in though, so sometimes that option will disappear. You do see the Sentry Core in the front, and Harstem still pressing in. So in the end, Harstem just wanted to be really aggressive here with the Prism. I kind of thought it was going to be looking a little bit different. We are going to see this pylon gets knocked down. This Nexus taking some more damage. Again, a couple of Stalkers still taking some hits as well. Sentries have to be cautious. They're going to fall, I think, maybe. These sentries, one of them goes down, the other goes down too. Probe's still lifting up. The Stalkers will blink in, so they will get the Prism, but he will lose Stalkers because of this. Because he blinked in aggressively, he can't now blink back defensively. Because the blink will be on cooldown for a little while. Obviously, that's starting to come off cooldown here. But 6 workers killed. Harstem already putting himself in a prime spot. Cyan keeping himself off to the side. 7 probes now going down. I mean, the Stalkers are just out of position now to defend this properly. And at the very least here, Harstem is going to get out with 10 workers killed. He'll get 4 of his Stalkers away too with that recall. Very nicely done by Harstem. What's up, JRAF1 coming in with the 10-month resub. How are you doing? Thank you so much for the 10 months. Got some love in the chat, please, for JRAF1. Thank you so much for using the 10 months on the channel here, dude. Appreciate all the support. Is it still the year of Harstem? He asks in the chat. Of course it is. It's always the year of Harstem. Some say that Harstem time actually runs in a different time to the to what we kind of measure time in. So a Harstem year is actually much longer than our usual year, which is why it still is the year of Harstem. Who knew? Man can bend space and time. Adept's coming in, and this is not looking good at all here for Cyan, as he really is going to try and go for it across the map, but shield batteries and Immortal. I mean, he starts recalling home now. By the time he comes in, I mean, these Adepts, he's going to be able to get both of them into the main base, so even more probes will fall, and this is Cyan really falling apart in these last few moments. Sad to see, another 10 workers lost. He's now 14 workers down. So yeah, Resonating Glaives on the way up here from Cyan. Blink is just over halfway done from Harstem as well. So Blink just about halfway done, as we're going to be seeing the Immortals gathering up down on the natural expansion. Watching this Resonating Glaives just tick away. Cyan obviously looking for a very aggressive follow-up. He's going to throw down what I'm going to call the Desperation Dark Shrine as well. So just from Harstem, he actually did go Blink off of the Twilight Council, so obviously feels as though he can maybe just win the game with a follow-up Blink attack with an Immortal or 2 of his own, of course. Guess we shall see. 5 gates going to be on the way up now. As we're coming out here towards the front, and we do see the pile on the probe just on the 3rd base. So pile on the probe on the 3rd, we do have these Stalkers, Immortals, and Sentries moving on down through the center. 3 extra gateways on the way up from Harstem. You have the shield batteries just continue to set up as well. 2 pylons on the upper side, and we are going to be seeing again these Stalkers of Harstem getting set up and ready to go. Another Sentry, another few Stalkers. We are going to be seeing these units just pushing in towards the natural expansion. Immortal already taking some hits, and first of all going down very quickly here. Force fields went great from Harstem to block that Immortal. Well, I guess they weren't bad actually. They weren't that bad. I mean, the one did slow it down a bit. Either way, Harstem has the numbers here. He does lose the Observer, I think, and DTs are going to warp in defensively. So the DTs might save him. Harstem does have 2 Observers. One of them is on the way across the map. Harstem is just going to stick around until the Observer gets here. Cyan obviously isn't feeling as though the DTs are going to save him. GG's.